Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show, featuring Steve and Karen Wilson, owners and innkeepers of the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. Welcome, everybody. You know, every second Tuesday, we like to go for an adventure in Asheville, North Carolina, with our friends Steve and Karen Wilson. They're known as Mr. and Mrs. Wild because it's either about nature and wildlife or road tripping and hanging out with musicians, which is another side of wildlife, right? You can keep up with, you keep up with them at their website, lion-rose.com, and that represents their beautiful, charming, historic bed and breakfast. The Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. It's right in the heart of the historic Montfort district. It's a beautiful pink lady. She's a Victorian lady, and she's quite the dame. Beautiful rooms, excellent breakfast, and when you check in, we always love to talk about you get a pint of home brewed beer. They even have programs that if you stay for a few extra days, you get a little keg in your room. There's just a lot of cool stuff going on. And if you're there on a Sunday, you could be there for beer mimosas at breakfast. I'm just saying, this is a very cool place. How are you, Steve? How are you? I know. I'm like, let's go. We need to go to the inn. Steve, what's on tap? What's on tap for summer?
As always, we got the wheat beer on tap, and we still have some of the pale ale on tap, which is going over real well.
Oh, I want.
Then we got a summer shandy.
Yep, we got a summer shandy too.
Oh, cool. So is the Dirty Godiva completely gone now? Like, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been gone for a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, I don't know. We may have to do a stop by and see you guys on our way to Tucson, Arizona. Save some of that pale ale. Save some of that pale ale. I want to try it. That'd be awesome. But yeah. Karen, how are you doing?
I'm good. How have you been?
Yeah, doing good. How's the garden? And this is talking about wild, right? We're going to be talking about that today. We've got a special guest. But they're also a certified backyard habitat where they have native plants and shelter and clean water and no pesticides. So animals like to hang out there. Birds, squirrels. Yeah, you guys get squirrels, which is really fun to watch when you're eating breakfast. You can see the squirrels go, I want your breakfast. And occasionally you can have a bear jump through over the fence while you're having breakfast, right, Karen? That's kind of a thing that could happen.
Yeah. We actually just had a bear destroy part of our fence yesterday.
Oh, Steve, are you happy about that? It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about that. He's been giving us problems the last couple weeks or so, digging in the trash can. And this time I don't know if somebody startled him or what, but he bounced off of the chain link fence that they normally hop over, and he made it collapse. So got more work to do.
Well, they're bears, though. I mean, this is a coexistence, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
They do have collars because the city's aware of them, right? So they are not pets.
Yeah, they are not pets, right?
They are not pets, yeah. And they do not belong in a circus. All right, we're going to talk more about bears. We have Cindy Smith joining us. She is from the Western North Carolina Nature Center, and they connect people with the animals and plants of the Southern Appalachian Mountain region by inspiring appreciation, nurturing understanding, and advancing conservation of the region's rich biodiversity. Did I read your website well, Cindy? Welcome.
Yes, you actually did. I don't have to repeat. I will not have to repeat you.
Okay, that's okay. That's cool. But when you look at it, it's kind of a rare thing when you hear about a nature center. Well, it's not rare, but it's just great to see that. I know you're doing a lot of conservation for local wildlife, but then you're also looking at biodiversity with the habitat, with the plant life. So is that part of that mission, is to understand that the habitat has to still be there and that we need to keep our native plants? Is that part of that whole makeup? Or is it the actual land too that you have?
Yeah. I mean, we're on, a city owned, 22 plus acres that, at one time was very largely undeveloped until it was developed into, local animal habitats, and all of the, local foliage is in there in addition to the things that we don't really want. There's kudzu in there that we have to hack out. And, so we're just like anywhere else in Asheville that needs to maintain the local nature of our property. We don't want invasive species, and it also does affect our habitat. So, we really do want to focus on the animals. not necessarily the raising of plants at all, but just ensuring that the habitats are native, you know?
So you're a backyard habitat too, then, you know?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really? That sounds good to me. So let's have an overview of the actual center. It's a nature center. People can go there and see wildlife. We'll talk about what the wildlife are. But are a lot of the wildlife injured animals? So I was looking on the website, which is wildwnc.org, and all the links we talk about on shows are always in the episode notes, so you can just click right through. Are they a lot of, because I know that this was a location was once a zoo. Now it's a nature center, which is focusing on local, right? Local wildlife, local native plants, native plant animals too. And then you have some animals that are part of a endangered species program, right? To kind of keep them thriving and, you know, to make sure we don't lose them completely, right? So there's 3 different things that you're doing there with plants and animals, but mostly local. How do you get those local animals? Are people calling you up and say, "Oh, we've got a bird in the backyard. What do we do?"
So yes, and I can share with you that we are home to, you know, over 60 species of wild and domestic animals. And most of them come to us because they would not be able to survive and thrive in the wild on their own for various reasons. You know, some of them have been injured in the wild and have been put in sanctuary to recuperate. And then they come to us to live out their days as ambassadors of their species so that residents of Western North Carolina can view them in an environment, learn from them, but they're also able to, you know, healthfully live out their days. So I would say the bulk of our animals have been rescued and rehabilitated in sanctuary and then have come to us. And then you did mention our conservation programs. So we have a number of conservation programs. Most notably would be our red wolf conservation program, where recently Gloria and Oak, who are, you know, mom and dad red wolf, had a puppy pack of 7 about a year ago. They just had their first birthdays. And those red wolves are part of, you know, a conservation program. I believe there's only 46 similar programs across the country that are helping to repopulate the red wolves. And for us, more specifically, along the Carolina coast, where they're really depleted, very sad numbers, you know, human reasons for their depletion. And we're really trying to work on that as our biggest conservation effort. But we also have our safe species program through AZA, which is our red panda program. And our 2 red panda are part of a conservation. And then we have our American river otter, Obie. Oh. And Obie is part of that program as well. And then the cougars. So we have new cougars. That they're our newest animal, Noah and Hala, Swana Noah, and not Hala, right? They are also part of, you know, and very much absent in the wild of the Appalachian region. And so for us to have them and be able to demonstrate, you know, animals that were once populating this region is really important. They arrived, you know, not too long ago, and they are just shy of a year old. They might be in their 11th month. And they are really a joy to watch right now as they're getting bigger and the big everyone wants to come out and see our cougars. Yeah. So, and then you did mention.
Go ahead. I was just going to go back to the red wolf. A couple of years ago, we went to Alligator National Wildlife Refuge, which is out towards the coast area. And we did see alligators, but what I saw is that they have a program of reintroducing the red wolf into there, which we were like, we want to see the red wolf. So I wondered if you worked with them on that level of, Cool.
So Alligator Alley, is where we did send, one of our red wolves. We do work with them, and that is, you know, the plan, is to help, you know, rehabilitate the species in that and repopulate the species in that area. Our red wolves, are going to stick around with us for another year. They can't be removed from their mom and dad until they're at least 2. And then after that, you know, the plan for them is in the hands of our staff. And then also because it's a federal program, the government has a lot to say about, you know, where they go in conjunction with our team. So, it's like a planless plan for another year, I suppose.
Okay. Well, this is great though. I mean, because that's the thing, I wanted to touch on, which is different from your history of being a zoo. And zoos do conservation programs. And you do have it where people can come and see the animals. And I know you work with schools too, right? And so there's that side. So it's not just for locals either, right? So you've got to get a lot of visitors that come out. And it's kind of cool for them to understand the wildlife, before they go hiking. Actually, take a look at this. This is what you might see on a trail,
Yeah. So there's a lot of prongs to our guest experience. And yes, we are definitely an attraction for all sorts of tourism, regional tourism, national tourism. We have people from all over the world, and we do document that. But we are also, we maintain the importance of our outreach program. So there are a good number of communities that don't have access to the nature center for whatever reason. The children aren't able to come out on field trips. The parents aren't bringing the children. So we have, through the Friends of the WNC Nature Center, who I work for. I work for the Friends, which is a foundation, 501c3 nonprofit. And we have an outreach program where we take the nature center out to Transylvania County. We take the nature center, out deep into Haywood or, counties that are not interacting with the nature center, and we bring it to them. We do public libraries. We do, elder homes. We do retirement facilities. We'll work with, special needs. And it's really to make sure that our message of environmental stewardship is there's equity in that work, that there's no barriers to access to that education. So we take it out to people. That's another prong of our guest experience. And then we have people who have memberships to the Nature Center, annual memberships that they've kept up for 20 plus years. We have people who love to come to the Nature Center as a member at 9:30 in the morning and walk, right? Like the mall walkers, but we have, the Nature Center walk.
I like the Nature Center walk more than a mall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Kind of wildlife there.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different, don't start me. That's like rest areas, right? Here we go. But for walking, and that connects people outdoors in nature and getting some fresh air as well. So when they come through, they get to see the animals and get to know them in a way. It's like, hi, So
but we also offer some really cool experiences that you wouldn't get during a normal visit to the Nature Center. So we have a lot of educational programs that take place at night. We have wild walks, junior wild walks, night at the Nature Center, critter checkups. Brews and Bears is our summer event series. These are all different ways that people can interact with the WNC Nature Center in a way that feels fun and educational for them. And that's really an important goal for the Friends of the Nature Center, which is to, bolster the experience of the Nature Center. So to support additional awesome opportunities to learn about our natural world here in Western North Carolina.
Steve and Karen, do your guests go? I know you guys go because I know you're going to go. There's beer and there's bears and there's wildlife.
We do have some guests that go. Some definitely hesitate thinking zoo, and we've tried to make that very clear that there is a difference, that they are not a zoo where you're worrying about where the animals came from or how they're being cared for. It's a very nice facility, and that's why we continue to support it.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, I think this is why these conversations are important, because sometimes people just go, and instead of let's research it out. And from our experience on the shows and in our travels, the whole zoo makeup is changing drastically.
I agree.
We had the Texas State Aquarium on the show, and majority of what they do, they put in this whole new emergency center. And it's because of, during the winters and hurricanes and all this kind of stuff, they were rescuing like 5,000 sea turtles at a time. And they're like, we're messed, like it's a mess, so they needed the facilities. And now they're really, like you're talking about the education through climate change. they're starting to see manatee, and not just climate change, but manatee, and this goes into habitat, right? And food and all of that. Manatees in Florida are not thriving as they used to. And now they're starting to migrate to Corpus Christi in the Gulf Coast. And so now they're having to do education to, the local community who are used to going out on their boats. And they know how to handle dolphins, but they are not aware of how to handle manatees suddenly. So they're dealing with that. So do you find yourself as that role of, getting the local community to understand, like, you may not need to kill this. You can do it this way. You know what I mean? To kind of understand the behavior of the animals.
Yeah. So you'd mentioned, wondering if we take in animals from people who just sort of walk in. And, people will do that. They will see a injured animal on the road, from a mouse to a bunny to a snake, and they'll bring it to us and say, you need to save this, or we need to do something for this. And we don't actually take in animals in sanctuary like that. We refer people to Appalachian Wild, App Wild.
Right.
And that's what they do, right? So they will help you determine what is the best course for that animal, and they will help rehabilitate that animal. So we are not like a rehabilitator, such as to say, but we do try and educate people about why you wouldn't want to kill your black rat snake if you find it in the yard, why that is such a crucial part of your land, your plot of land, and how important it is to keep an eye out for red-tailed hawk, or, if you have a small dog off leash in your home, that, they are birds of prey. But this is also a really important and crucial part of our environment here. So that is the environmental stewardship and education that's so important to the work that we do.
And getting it to kids and families is, I think, crucial, because kids will soak up that information and then they nag the parents. They teach the parents. That's what I've learned. Kids are the best, on that. True. It's like, no, mommy, don't kill the rat snake. The rat snake is good. Rat snake is good.
We have a volunteer docent program that is staffed by, essentially it's like a volunteer promotion. We have a lot of volunteers that stick around for a really long time, and they develop such an expertise because they've just been around for so long that they then get promoted to be docents. And these docents are like the lifeblood of the Nature Center. They do what our on-site education team doesn't really have the bandwidth to do. And that is, they push carts around the Nature Center with fur. They will park themselves in the red wolf habitat or in the turtle pond, and they will have things for the kids to touch so that you can look at a turtle shell, and then you can hand the child the turtle shell and say, feel this turtle shell. What does it feel like in your hand? Feel how hard it is. Why do you think that this turtle shell is so hard? What is it protecting itself from? Or the fur of the river otter. You feel it, and you can feel how it keeps the otter warm and dry. And then you can see it on the animal and how he shakes himself off. They can make that correlation. And those docents are just so critical to the infrastructure of what we do, to allow kids to touch, have tactile experiences, because we don't allow people to interact with our animals in that way on habitat at all. There's no petting the animals. There's no wrapping the snake around your arm. It's not a thing. So, the docent program is really critical for that connection.
But I like that how you're doing it, though. It's like, I don't know, the education part I think is so, so crucial, and having that awe, of like, wow, look at this, animal, and it takes some of the fear away, but and replaces it with respect, for coexistence and stewardship. I do have to ask you about Hellbender, just for Steve. Tell us about Hellbender. Tell everybody who Hellbender is, because he's like, dude, he's like the old man, on the top of the Appalachians. This is my Blue Ridge Parkway.
It does look prehistoric. I mean, he does look like a little dinosaur for sure. So, our Hellbender, the giant salamander, that's, his home is in Appalachian Station. His name is Meatloaf. I mean, he looks like a giant meatloaf. And he is
he's a nice one.
definitely critically endangered here, for numerous reasons: boats, people, fishing line, receding river water, all the things. So he is another really special animal to learn from. That's
interesting. I didn't. So the fishing line, that's something, man, I know people love to fish. I know Steve and Karen, you both do, but I hate it when I go to a place and I see line just places you can't even reach.
I hate it.
And I'm like, come on, man. If you're going to eat part of the ecosystem, be part of it, like clean up your eating habits.
Agreed.
But that fishing line that's pretty mean to the animals. I mean, do you find that kind of thing is kind of what are the biggest dangers? Like in general, would you say fishing line, boating, understanding boating and how to handle things? Does that hurt otter? I
mean, all of the above, right? People don't practice appropriate catch and release. Animals get caught up in fish lines, in motor engines. Also, people do things, cruel things to be able to catch something and just have it to be able to look at it and touch it. And it's it's a lack of regard for our environment. But that is exactly what environmental stewardship is. It's both parents, children, people, individuals learning why that's not okay and how to teach other people not to, practice those negative habits in nature.
I wanted to say this is so cool. You have a corn snake, and
we do. We have a few corn snakes.
I know. We're going to take care of a corn snake in a few days. We're excited about it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? And a leopard lizard, gecko.
Leopard gecko.
Yeah.
Those are adorable.
Yeah. They're so beautiful, but you've got what, when it comes to snakes, you've got Eastern garter snake, you've got a rat snake, the snake part. So let's go back to the education of this. Cause I see people especially if we are from the Southwest, right? People are like, oh, I saw this rattlesnake and, I think they're gorgeous. And I should be dead by all my snake encounters, but I'm not, because I have respect and I feel like they know. But what I see people like, all snakes should be killed. A good snake, a dead snake is a good snake. And it makes my blood boil. I get so upset about it. And, you see them on groups talk about this. And I'm like, why are you on an ID group on Facebook if you just want to kill something? So can we talk about the role of snakes and how crucial they are to our environment? They really are.
Sure.
And does that help going to this nature center and the education programs? Like I was saying, taking the fear and replacing it with respect.
Yeah. So there is a really cool, exhibit on the wall in Appalachian Station, which is where all of our, marbled salamanders, is where Meatloaf's home is, and our snakes and our turtles, our frogs. And it basically shows you the difference of how you tell the difference between a venomous and a non-venomous snake. And the kids can shift the little tiles over to say, if it looks like this, oh, it's non-venomous. If it has this, it's venomous. If this, venomous, look at its tail, this and that. So it allows them, again, to touch something and make a connection to an understanding about a snake. And, the conversation is, if you see this snake on the trail, if you see this snake right here, who is a venomous snake, a rattlesnake, this is a snake you don't want to run into on the trail. This is a snake you want to avoid, that you want to move away from. Here's a black rat snake. This is a non-venomous snake. This is a snake that you really want to see in your yard because, they're taking care of the rodents, but you still don't want to mess. You don't want to mess around. It's not that it's venomous, non-venomous. You just want to leave it alone. Let it do its thing. It's not going to hurt you. If, interesting. A couple weeks ago, we were at Lake Jocassee and we were hiking and my son pointed out, oh, look, there's a black rat snake on the ground. And the woman we were with said, watch the black rat snake's tail. Look at a leaf. Because the black rat snake tries to pretend it's a rattlesnake when it's frightened, and it shakes its tail, which makes the leaf around it vibrate, and it
That's
sort of
cool.
Right? It's its little defense mechanism.
Well, that's one of the black racers that do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it's so neat.
Very cool.
I love that you said too that, okay, the rattlesnake, this is the timber rattlesnake that you have, right? That's someone to stay away from on the trail, because I hear people go, good snake, bad snake. And I'm like, no, just because they're venomous doesn't mean they're out to get you. It's almost like if you're a venomous snake, they're on this prowl to get you. I don't know what movies people are watching, but no, it's not really true. If you step on him, he's going to react. If you're close to, habitat and babies or any animal, I don't care who it is. I watch little bluebirds go after crows, in the springtime over their nests and stuff. But I just feel like the education of that, the more I see on social media, it kind of freaks me out. I remember putting up a tarantula from Apache Springs in Arizona at Fort Bowie. And this tarantula, it's tarantula season. It was beautiful. People are like, kill it. And I was like, dude, look at it. It's beautiful. So I feel like this education, it can't just be that we post pictures. We have to have this backup kind of thing. Yeah. I'm glad you're on the show with this. What are you doing with Sicilian donkeys? I just did a podcast on Sicily, so I'm like, what? Wait.
Yeah. So, Willie and Eeyore are part of our, domestic animal habitat. And actually, I'm really, really glad that you brought up, the farmyard and the North Carolina farmyard, because they are the stars of our Gateway to the Southern Appalachians project that we just launched 2 weeks ago. The Nature Center is under a tremendous amount of renovation right now. So when you come in the front gates, you'll immediately notice that our barn is not shut down, but it's quartered off. And then when you walk past it, you will certainly notice that the farmyard is out of commish. And we are doing an incredible project that removed the elephant house. So there, used to be an elephant that existed at the Nature Center. And that when that elephant passed, the elephant house was still there, but the elephant yard turned into a farmyard for domestic sheep, goats. We've got Oberhausen goats. We've got our 2 Sicilian donkeys, and it's time to give them some more space. So we are overhauling that whole farmyard. We're also adding a pollinator garden for butterflies, nature play areas, shade coverings, education kiosks. So that, if you're visiting anytime in the next little bit, you're going to see all of that happening. And that's a wonderful project that's supported by the TDA, the city, the Friends of the Nature Center, and all of our generous donors who, are members and donors who support us are the reason why we can do these projects. So our barnyard is expanding.
So that goes into, well, go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, are you still going to be doing the evening roundup with the animals when you put them to bed? That's one of the funnest parts there, I think.
Yeah.
That's one of our favorites.
What?
Yeah. So you see that
we
when
love
we
the
put
stampede.
up this. Yeah. So, yes, right now what's happening is our domestic animals are on rotation because, the space right now is limited based on the rock and the this and the that. So some of them, stay in the barn during the day. Some of them go in the yard, and then we swap them out, but they are still being, they're still being put to bed. We named the annual 5K that we do at the Nature Center, the running of the goats, because of what you expect, right? It's the running of the goats 5K because every morning and every night we run the goats in and we run them back out.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, it's a
cool.
good time.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of growth, but not necessarily like growth, but like, improvements and things like that are happening. And then you're talking about fundraising. So can we talk about beer and bears now? I've been dying to talk about this.
Yeah.
So tell everybody about your bears, first before we get to the beer. Yeah.
I'm going to tell everybody about Ursa and Uno, who are American black bears and are the stars of the Brews and Bears show. And the Brews and Bears summer event series is a 4-month series, the second Friday of every month starting May, where we keep the Nature Center open after hours from 5:30 to 8. And you can come in, you can get a beer, you can get some food from a food truck, and you can walk around the Nature Center and enjoy cooler temperatures and additional enrichment with the animals. So we will give the bears fruit popsicles or trout popsicles or giant watermelons to crack into. And obviously they love it. And people love watching them try and figure that out. All of our animals get enrichment, and we do programs. So we will do a bobcat program. I think August is our cougar program. I want to say the gray wolves are our July program. So it's just really special. It's a family fundraiser. You can bring anyone, intergenerational, from the little kiddos to the grandparents, all come together, and it's nice. It's just such a nice event. And this month we have live music. We have the realtors that are coming to play this month. So there'll be a band, food trucks. Yeah, cool. Kona Ice will be there. I think this month is Cecilia's. I think next month is Gypsy Queen. The big foot long hot dog comes.
What?
It's a good time.
What do you mean? What do you mean? The hot dog? Yeah, okay.
The hot dog guy, big foot longs.
We like sausage. Yeah. So that is cool. So I love this. The bears. Can we touch on bears and people understanding bears in the wild and understanding the bears that they see in Asheville too? Because we started talking about them like they're in the neighborhood. So people that may be in Asheville for the first time, may come from a completely different country, different place that they don't see. Like, they may come out of LA, and the only way you're going to see bears in LA, well, you can. Don't start me.
You go to the zoo.
I'm like, just watch my mouth. But up in Topanga and places like that, you'll see bears, right? So in the backwoods, and they've been those. I don't know. Have you guys seen the mountain lion video cam in Santa Monica of all the mountain lions?
No.
Yeah. Well, if I send it to you, Karen, and Steve, you won't go to work. You won't. It's, it's very dangerous, all of these programs with wild, but I think these webcam things with wildlife are such great ways of education. What do you think, Cindy, for that? Because it's they get to see how animals live, birds, and foster that respect and stewardship that I was talking about. But bears, let's talk about bears that they're beautiful. I love bears. Isn't it special to see them? And how should people behave around them? Do they understand that once they've been to the nature center, get a little understanding about if you encounter one on a hike or in a neighborhood, what to do, or just at least have that respect?
Yeah, so we definitely promote our partnership with Bearwise, the bear experts in the area, and we have them at all of our events to talk about how do we coexist. How do we deter them from our property? Why should we deter them from our property? Why we should seal up our trash appropriately? Why their population is so expansive. We talk about all these things, and it's a big part of life in not just Asheville, like in Western North Carolina, but as the city becomes more populated and the people sort of take over their natural habitat, we have to learn how to coexist. And Bearwise does a great job in helping to teach people how to do that. And there's a lot of just simple things you should know. I mean, when I'm going to walk my dog, especially between the months of April and, August, I carry a little, especially where I live, I carry a little whistle with me to deter the bear from approaching. and I strap my trash. I have a bear strap on my trash can to deter it from digging around in my trash. And we don't put out bird feeders because that's just a recipe for, there's simple little things we can do. We definitely should not approach bears. We should not pull baby bears out of trees for selfies. We should not, sort of, abuse this sort of beautiful environment, but we also just have to know that they are here and around all the time.
So bird feeders, this is where it's important when we look at bird feeders and things to have the, like in winter, put them out, right? That helps. But in spring, summer, fall, if you planted the native plant garden and have like the certified wildlife habitat, like what Steve and Karen have, which is through the National Wildlife Federation, which is an amazing program. That is something. And even you can become a monarch way station. Come on. Who doesn't want to be that? That's something, that's what I love that you're bringing the plant part in, because that's what can, if we keep our native plants, that's going to be a huge step in conservation all the way around.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Bugs and birds and bees and butterflies, all the bees, bugs and birds and bees and butterflies. I mean,
she's going to sing just now. She's going to sing.
That's the natural way to do it.
That's awesome, though. Yeah, I like this. You guys have got like a full circle thing going. That's very cool.
We do.
Steve and Karen, okay. Favorite animal for you guys going in? I'm going to go to the pygmy goats too. But I was going to think that Steve is a hellbender, but we'll find out. But let's start with you, Cindy. When you go to the nature center, where do you go first? Like that you want to get to? Like, is there a specific animal? I mean, I want to see them all, period. But
So prior to me working with the Friends of the Nature Center, I was a member with a 2-year-old. And so I would race to the nearest playscape, honestly. I would race to the arachnid playscape. But now that I'm at the nature center every day, I walk into the barnyard or the farmyard and I say good morning to every single animal, every single goat, every single sheep, every single donkey.
You have chickens.
I love it.
You have chickens.
Yeah, we do have chickens. Yep. Yeah, we have a new flock of, not so much babies. They are growing very quickly, but yeah, we have a new flock of chickens. But that is my first stop is saying hi and acknowledging each of our domestic farm animals with their names and a good morning.
I love that because I love
I do too.
And I do love it. Donkeys and goats. Goats are so much fun. They really are fun. Okay,
Definitely.
Karen, where do you want to go first when you go to the nature center?
It's always towards the cats. I like the bobcats and the mountain lions, of course.
Well, she's the lion in the rose, So,
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. Steve, are you going for the reptiles? I just gotta know. You're going for the salamander?
Yeah, eventually. I like the cats and I like the red pandas, but I always like to go check out the pine snake. The pine snake when he's out. You don't see those too often.
A pine snake.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've heard of one. Ooh.
Yeah, they're related to they're constrictors, and they're related to like bull snakes, and I'm not sure if they're related to king snakes. And
are they local? Like a local snake?
Yeah. They're up in they find them, I guess, in the pine straw, but they're usually not. They're usually back more in the forest, so they're harder to find, I guess. I'm not sure if they're rare or not. I don't really know that much, but
cool.
Yeah, they're really neat.
I want to see a pine snake. I'm gonna get on like.
Go to the nature center.
You got to come to the nature center next time.
Okay, and you got Cotswold sheep. That's the thing. And barn owls. Oh, and the otters. The otters. I think.
Turtles.
Yeah, and the fox.
So many cool
turtles.
Animals.
Musk turtle. Now I didn't know there was a musk turtle. Did not know. And also, or known as a stink pot. You stinky pot turtle. Red fox.
Karen caught one fishing once.
Striped skunk.
Oh, yes.
Turkey vultures. Y'all, this is cool. All right, man. Okay. And gray wolves too. Huh?
Yeah. Our gray wolves are just really gorgeous gorgeous animals.
And coyotes. I love coyotes so much. I really do. Because people, they're important parts too, you know, they're part of the ecosystem. And that's my thing is that everybody, the web of life, we have to learn. So you have 60 species of wildlife. That's amazing. Wow.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Well, I want to come play. I want to come play with the goats. I want to come play.
You definitely need to.
Yeah. But we'll figure it out. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. We have some time before we get to Tucson. We might come see you all beforehand. You never know. We never know. Yeah. But everyone, the most important thing is that everyone goes and also supports these initiatives. And if you go, it's July now and there's August. You can be part of the beer, the Brews and Bears. Blech.
Yes, you can. July.
Absolutely.
July 12th is the next one, and then August 9th is the last one. So you have 2 chances to get in. 2.
You better get going. Don't wait.
That's one of the best events. One of the best.
They're going to cut you off at the line. So you got to go. Everybody, wildwnc.org is the website. Also lion-rose.com. I love this. We've got lions. We got bears. We've got goats. I mean, come on, sheep, snakes. This is perfect. Thank you, Cindy, so much for joining us. And thank you to everyone at the Nature Center doing all this amazing work and conservation and education. Thank you. And Steve and Karen, as always, thanks for joining us. Karen, was I right about the keg thing in the rooms? Can you tell everybody about that? Because as I was saying that, I realized I might be wrong about how this works on the kegs in the rooms.
No, you're absolutely right. For anybody who stays 4 nights or longer, they can get a complimentary in-room tap in their room, and it's about 8.5 pints worth of beer that we brew.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's get back to Asheville now. Stat.
All
right. Thank you, everybody. Take care and happy adventuring in Asheville, North Carolina. And go wild. Be like Mr. and Mrs. Wild. Have a good time. Thank you for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show. Learn more about the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, which is located in the historic Montford district of Asheville, North Carolina. Go to lion-rose.com. You can keep up with our Big Blend radio shows at bigblendradio.com.